All right. Okay, should be live streaming now. Great. All right. Well, it looks like we have the both of you guys today. There might be one other performer, Oliver, if he comes, and then there'll be three of us. Otherwise, it's just you guys. Let's go ahead. We're gonna start off with Surya. Do you want to start by introducing yourself and then your piece?
Hello, my name is Surya. I'm going to be playing Mechanical Doll by Dmitry Shostakovich, and I'm only playing the first page.
All right. Okay. Good job getting the first page down. Well done. Some things that I really liked is, well, definitely your opening, I feel like was very strong. And I think that you had a really good grasp of all of these motifs here, especially the rhythms, because we have a mixture of 16th notes and eighth notes. So I feel like you had a really good grasp on that. And then your articulations as well, because I feel like the articulations is what makes this piece stand out. And it makes it kind of interesting to play. So I thought you did a good job with the staccatos in particular. Were there any parts of this like in your practice that you found kind of difficult or like any roadblocks in your practice?
Originally, I thought like measure 7 and 8. Those were pretty hard.
Oh,
Mainly that was the hardest bit to overcome, and then
yeah, okay.
there was another slight roadblock, which was that measure 50. The whole last line.
The whole last line. Yeah, I mean, it definitely changes here, right? Because I feel like for the majority of this piece, it has the same pattern. It's repeating the same motifs, right? Have you gone over what a motif is with one of your instructors,
No,
professor? Have you ever heard that word before in general?
no.
Oh, okay. I think we'll probably talk about that today. We'll have John playing and we'll come back to that topic. But overall, I also agree. Like, I think this last line is different because it essentially just changes higher patterns, right? Because a lot of this is what you're used to. It's a lot of copy and paste, right? Yeah.
Uh,
So we'll come back to this in a moment and tackle it together. Have a second to talk about motif. But let's have John play his piece because I know it's a little bit longer, and then we'll come back to the topic, okay? Okay, John, I know you're not on my on my attendance, so I'm just gonna pull up the piece here. Is this the one that you were working on?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're doing the entire thing. Are you gonna include repeats or no repeat?
No repeats.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
John. Wow, excellent job. This is a beast of a song. So props to you for getting all the way through and being able to coordinate both hands together because I know this song, your hand has to move a lot on the piano. There's also a lot of stretching, a lot of different technical things that your hand has to do. So really good work. I just want to applaud you for like getting through the entire piece. So John, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you to turn on your camera. Could you turn your camera for me? Thank you, John. It's good to see you. So as you've been playing this piece, like for you, what do you think was the biggest challenge in your practice? Oh, wait, sorry, you have to unmute yourself too. Thanks.
Yeah, so I forgot to focus on the first page since at the beginning I was good at my first page, so I worked on my second page to get it through. Then I got kind of rusty at the first page.
Okay, no, that's fair. Well, I'm glad that you focused on the second page because that means that you were doing probably a lot of backwards practicing at Kaizen.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I'm glad that you did backwards practicing. And we can actually talk about how we can balance backwards practicing with just regular, like going forward, using like the different motifs in the piece, which I know we've gone over before in another performance seminar. So we'll talk about how you can do that in this piece. And the same thing with you, Surya, we'll talk about that in your piece. And then I think we have one more performer. So I see Oliver joined. Welcome, Oliver.
Sorry, I went into Kaizen on accident instead of a performance seminar.
All good, it happens. All right, I got you logged in here. What are you performing today?
I'll be performing Scherzo.
Oh, great, by Haydn. Are you gonna take the repeats?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, you can start. If you could also turn on your camera for me.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Oliver. That was a really energetic and animated performance. I really liked it. And it fit the style, which is a scherzo. So scherzo, wait, Oliver, do you know what the word scherzo means? Or what it translates?
No.
So scherzo in Italian means a joke. So something that's joking, right? It's supposed to be funny, a little bit more upbeat. So I feel like your performance really leaned into that. So I really liked it. I think that your beginning was really confident. You have a really good tempo going. And then I noticed towards the end, it gets a little bit more complicated, right? Because you have more 16th note runs in the right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, talk me through your process. Like for you, what was something that you struggled with in your practice or an obstacle in general?
Learning like the jumps between the two, like between the lines and measures, and like the switching like fingers.
Like the finger switches here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a really good point that you bring up. What was something that helped you get that down? Because you had to do that quite often. I noticed when you're playing, like at the very beginning, right off the bat, you have to be able to move your hand. So what was something that helped you get it down really well?
It probably is like taking one measure at a time and then just slowly adding them up.
Okay, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think chunking it is really important and obviously going slow. Well, I'm glad to hear that really helped you because I feel like your beginning was quite strong, especially because we have a lot of repetitive motifs, and that is going to be our topic for today. And I think it's a topic that, John, I think you came to one of my performance seminars and we talked about that. But we'll talk about that and how that can actually help your practice. So let's look at motifs today. So you can either see it as the word motive, or you can also see it as. Are any of you guys familiar with either of these words? Have you ever seen them before? Or how about John? Have you? I know a long time ago we talked about this in a performance seminar like a month or two ago.
I think it's like a rhythmic section.
Okay, so rhythmic, so like a section that has different rhythms.
Yeah, it's like a section. Yeah, just is it like a section like you play that? Oh yeah, I remember. It's a section that comes over and over, right?
Yeah, you're getting closer to it. How about can we have all of our cameras on, John, Surya, and Oliver? Let's say, how about Surya? You said that you don't know what. Thank you. Surya, you said you don't know what motif is? No. Okay, and then what about Oliver? Have you ever heard that word before?
Not. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I will play examples of motifs. I want you to tell me if you know them or if you don't. Okay, another student just joined. I think I'm gonna have this student join. Sorry, guys, hold on. Let me check on the student. And then I'll play some motifs. Okay. Hey, Rohi.
Hi, Miss Amelia.
Hi. I see Mr. Fong just wrote me. He wants you to perform in here.
Yeah.
Okay, you're more than welcome. We just finished up the performances, but I'm gonna have you perform, and then we're gonna just chat about motifs. So we have our final performer. We have Arohi. Welcome. What piece are you performing, Arohi?
I'm performing music in D major.
Oh, okay. Let me pull it up for everyone, and then I'll start. Okay. Do you have your own piece printed out?
I'm going to be playing it from memory.
Oh, okay. All right. Whenever you're ready, you can go. All right, Rohi, that was solid. I've heard you working on this at Kaizen, so to see all the progress that you made with it is quite impressive. Overall, I feel like you're pretty confident in this piece. I have a couple of things for you, but is there any problems or any obstacles that you've run into while practicing this?
No.
Okay. I would say the biggest thing for you, since I feel like your memory is quite strong, just being aware of your tempo and pulse, specifically on page 2, line 2. That part there, making sure that it's staying all around the same tempo. So we're going to take a moment. Let me see. We're going to take a moment to go over our topic today and have a chance to practice all of our different motifs together and some of our more difficult spots of the song. So I think before you came on here, I kind of asked everyone what their thoughts were on motif, if they've ever heard that word before. Have you heard that word before, Arahi, motif or motive?
No.
No, okay. So motif, you could hear it in music classes, but you could also maybe hear it at school with your teachers too. I'm just going to play some examples of really famous motifs, and I want to see if you guys recognize any of them at all. Okay, so I'm going to play the first one, which is
The Mario theme song.
yeah, okay. I'm gonna do another one, and then I'm gonna see if John, I want to see if you know this one.
Early's.
Okay, for at least. Okay, Syria, what is... I'm gonna give you a really niche one from TV. It's a TV show, but it's more of like a kids TV show. I'm trying to remember it.
Oh, that was Peppa Pig,
Come
right?
on. What is it?
Peppa Pig?
Yes, Peppa Pig. Okay, okay. So all of these things you guys recognize, right? Like I feel like those are all pretty famous, right? Okay, cool. So all of those are examples of some short motifs, which in other words, we can say like little ideas or like little tiny themes that you might recognize. I only played a snippet of it, but obviously like Fur is way longer. Peppa Pig goes on. It has a whole theme song that I didn't play for you. So same with Mario, like there's way more. But I just played you one part of it. And every song, every piece that you play has these little themes in them, but obviously the song is way longer and they either repeat, they change, or they present new ideas too. And to be able to recognize them, it can help you practice your piece and help you identify the most difficult motifs in your piece so that you're mostly focusing on that. So, like, if we start with Arohi in your piece, I feel like you have different motifs going on. For example, I feel like this one is very common. Dun, da, 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 dun, da, 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 right there. Right?
I think I played that 4 times, but I think the first 2 lines are like
Yeah. Yeah, what about the first two lines?
those are the motifs.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, we kind of even have like different motifs coming up too. Like we can break them into this. And this is a really good way to break up practice too. Instead of like, do you guys, whenever you go to Kaizen and you get your practice list, does it say like line one, line two, line three? You know what I'm talking about? Do you guys normally, I'm curious, do you guys normally go by the lines or do you have like a different method to practice your pieces? Or do you like to go by line? Sometimes I do. I go by line sometimes.
Sometimes go by line, but I sometimes also goes by maybe 2 lines or a section,
Mhm.
or when it maybe says repeat.
Mhm. I agree. What about
Me
your?
personally,
Oh yeah, Surya, what
me
about?
personally, it really depends on
Mm.
like what happens. Sometimes, like occasionally, I do line,
Mhm.
but mainly I just do like practicing on double block.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and it's the same here because you can go by like one line at a time, and I think that's helpful to keep track. But more importantly, if you can find these motifs, you can practice motifs at a time. Because if you think about it, if you really nail down one motif, which for Arohi it was this one here, then you already got a lot of the song covered already because it comes up again on the second page too. If you really think about it like that, and it makes your lives like 10 times easier. And that can help you get to the most difficult sections of your piece. So for example, Surya, let's go back to your piece. For you, what was the most difficult section? You said the last line?
The second, the last part of the second line.
The last part of this line.
Second.
Well, that makes sense. Okay, well, let's look at it in terms of like your motifs, right? If we take like this little bit, right? How many times does it come up in the first three lines?
3 times.
Yeah, so we have here, even here, right?
Oh, and also at the second line.
Yeah, even the second line, yeah. Like it's coming up a little, it's even though it's a little different, it's about the same. So it's really nice for our brains to see that. It makes practice a lot easier. That isolates us with this part, which you're saying you're struggling with. So can we all take a moment? You guys can all mute yourselves. I want you all to take a moment to look at this motif here. And take a second to all practice it together. You can do one hand at a time if you want. Maybe try the right hand. But if you feel good with hands together, try hands together. Okay, Surya, can you play it for us hands together?
Okay.
Okay, Okay, nice. Okay, let's have John. Do you feel comfortable playing at least one hand?
Wait, could I go last?
Yes, you can go last. Arohi, do you want to give it a shot? You can do one hand if you're comfortable. Nice, good job. And then I'm gonna help you with I know you don't have this piece, you haven't practiced this one, so I'm gonna put the key signature in here. Okay, try one more time with the key signature. Hey, good sight reading. All right, Oliver, you wanna give it a shot?
Hmm.
Not bad. Yeah, there you go, good job. John, do you feel comfortable with it, with just the right hand?
Yeah.
Give it a shot. Starts on a G, treble G.
Okay.
Nice, okay. Yeah, good job. Good job getting this motif here. So this one stands out compared to the rest. And same with that last line there. So even if we go down to the last line, the motifs change dramatically, right? It's not the same as what we have here before. There's a second page to this, isn't there, Surya? Yeah, there is. So you have a bit, yeah, so you have a bit more going on here. So when you're practicing this piece, oh, and it goes on for a while. So yeah, when you're practicing it, Surya, take a moment to actually analyze your music before you start to practice it, like just going from the beginning. Take a second to actually look through your entire piece. Have you guys ever done that in your practice? Like before you get your piece, do you like to look, like just kind of look at the entire music, or do you just start?
Me personally, I just start.
You just start? What about you, John? Do you like to just start, or do you actually kind of look for patterns before?
I don't really look for patterns. I just see like the dynamics
Oh,
and the
okay.
signature.
Oh yeah, that's very important. What about you, Arohi? How do you like to approach your practice there?
It actually depends on how long or short the piece is. If it's a long piece, I'll look for patterns. If it's short, then I'll just start.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Oliver?
I like to see like how fast I want to see like what the rhythm and like how does it kind of sound like before I play it.
Nice. Yeah. I'm the same way. So depending on the piece that you have, sometimes you can just start and just start sight reading it and have fun with it. But especially when you're practicing a piece, and let's say you're with this piece for a long time, like if you're gonna be with it for let's say a couple weeks and you're about to perform it, it's really helpful to at least take a second to go through and analyze your piece. So here, analyzing, especially for motifs, which I know that was our topic today. If you can find those motifs, it can help you make your practice a lot faster and a lot smarter so that you don't have to go all the way from the top to the bottom. You practice motifs at a time, and when they reoccur, when they repeat, sometimes you can skip over it and learn a different motif and then come back to it. So it can make your lives a lot easier. It's sort of like if you've ever taken a test. I don't know if you've ever done this, guys, but if you've ever taken a test at school, and sometimes before you just start taking the test, like in order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can look through, like flip through the whole test and see which ones are harder, and like you can start with the harder ones. Have you ever done that before? In a test? Have you done that, John?
Not really, since usually my tests aren't that hard, but some of them are timed, so I just try to rush them.
That's fair, that's fair. But yeah, in music or even in test taking too, you can think about it smartly. So using your motifs in music just to identify where you want to practice, but then also which motif is the most hard, and that becomes the first thing that you want to practice at Kaizen. But it was good seeing you all. It was a lot more people than I expected, so that was kind of nice. But yeah, thank you so much for coming today. Good job, Aruhi, Oliver, John, and Surya. I'll probably see you guys at Kaizen.